Good morning. Okay. Welcome to another episode of Losing My Mind podcast, the podcast dedicated to all things brain cancer related. On today's show, I want to talk about the importance of support groups. Um, like I've said in previous episodes, I was diagnosed back in May, and then I had my after having my biopsy very shortly afterwards, I had my surgery to have my tumor removed. Um, One thing that vividly stands out in my mind was that the first few minutes after I woke up after coming out of my biopsy. When I first woke up, I saw my sister and my wife, and um, I think someone else was there, but I can't really remember. But I do remember seeing my sister and my wife, and they were sitting there. And my wife has a terrible poker face, so I knew immediately something was wrong. And I remember her leaning in and she's crying. And she starts telling me that it's not my fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. I'm like, what's not my fault? And she's like, do you want to know? I'm like, well, yeah, I want to know. What are you talking about? And she says, you have stage 4 glioblastoma. And I'm kind of shell shocked for a minute. And she's like, I'm like, well, what does that mean? She goes, they said you got 9 to 14 months to live. And I'm like, that was the biggest shock of my life. Um, but anyway, aside from the initial fact that I thought it was kind of cruel to be told that by my wife instead of my doctor, I thought that was kind of wrong at the time, and um, even to this day, when I think about it, it kind of bothers me. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is that from that moment on, especially leading up to the surgery and afterwards, um, the first 30, 45 days after I found out what I had was pure hell for me and my family. I mean, it was breakdown after breakdown, shock, disbelief, anger, every emotion you could think of. I went through it, and I had gotten to the point where I couldn't even look at my kids without breaking down because it just reminded me of what I was going to be leaving or what I thought I'd be leaving. And that's where the importance of a support group comes in. I feel like at this point, immediately upon awakening, I should have been presented some support group pamphlets or some support group sites by my doctor, or someone should have said, hey, it's going to be very important for you right now to join a support group. Because I'm going to tell you what, support groups is really what saved me as far as giving it started. I was hopeless until I joined a support group. Because once I joined a couple of support groups, I started finding hundreds or even thousands of people exactly like me and exactly the same sort of cancer. Many of them unmethylated, just like me, and they're still alive and kicking well today, long, long after their initial prognosis. So, your prognosis is not etched in concrete. It is just a general. Uh, I guess it's just a generalized summary of what happens to people who don't fight or who lose all sense of hope or just uh, there's a couple ways you got to fight this disease. Number one, you have to try every available treatment. You have to go through the surgery. You have to take the medicines. Um, the chemo, the radiations, some of that stuff is it can be tough to get through, but you got to do it. The second part of fighting this is mentally. I'm a firm believer in maintaining a positive outlook. And number one, it's important for your family. Number two, is more importantly, it's for yourself also. Um, and I had forgotten to do that until I joined a support group. And once I joined a couple of support groups, everything changed for me. Um, so that's what today's episode is. And from now on, if I meet any newly diagnosed patient, the first thing they're going to hear from me is to, hey man, get yourself involved in a support group. I might even recommend a couple. Um I've grown pretty fond of a couple of support groups on Facebook. Um I like the ease of the conversation, and it's easy to reply, and um I love hearing the stories. I mean, some are sad, but some are very uplifting and very powerful, and it just fills you with hope and just it energizes you on the tough days. You have to remember that there are lots of people gone through the exact same thing you have. They're still going through it, and you're still going to have your dark days. But um, if you're gonna steal as much time away from this disease as you can, they can't all be dark days. You have to have those days of hope and cling on to them and ride them out. And that's what I plan on doing. So that's another reason I'm doing this podcast, hopefully chronicling my journey and um, not only give someone an outlet to come on this show and tell and share their story eventually, but also to maybe give someone else some hope down the road. I'm no expert at this. I'm still learning as I go, but I do know that I wish I had been told upon the initial diagnosis, um, especially after giving my prognosis, that, hey, man, get yourself in a support group. It's very, very important for your mental health and for the upcoming fight of your life, because you're going to need support. Even though you don't know these people, you've never met them, you do. You can just tell just by when you start reading the stories that they're legit and they're going through, because unless you have this, unless you've gone through it, you have no idea what it's like. It's difficult. It's very difficult, and you can't fake your way through this on the when you hear and read these testimonies, you know if they're legit or not. And uh, if you've just been diagnosed, you need to hear and read these stories, because it's really it's going to give you some gas to stay motivated to fight this thing, and realize that your prognosis is not etched in stone. It's um, you can beat this or fight this for years after your initial diagnosis. So that's really what I wanted to talk about today, because I'm finding even months later, after just finishing my first round of chemo and radiation, I'm still finding these support groups to be more important than ever. Because I need to hear these stories. I need to read these stories. I need to hear from these people. The comments and the feedback on my little very I mean, it's obvious I'm not a professional podcaster. I mean, that's obvious from the get go. But I'm getting an incredible amount of feedback and to keep going. And I love your podcast messages, and that motivates me and gives me something to do, because I can no longer work. I can't drive anymore. When my kids are at school, my wife's at work. It's just me here at the house all day on my medicine. And as much as I hate that, as bored as I get, this gives me something to do. And like I said, hopefully I'm uh, I'm helping someone out there. And if you're out there and you're watching this and you've just gotten the worst news of your life, join a support group, please. It is very helpful. I can't stress that enough. Um, but anyway, that's about all I have to say for this morning, and I hope the rest of you are have a wonderful day. Until next time, I'll see you then. Later.